Louise Green here for MMA Crazy, and I'm joined by Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. We're here to promote JDS and Werdum. Can you talk a little bit about that fight, that matchup, how that came about?
Me and my partner in the promotion, big part of the promotion, Dean Toole, we were like, man, that was a nice main event we did. We got to make it crazier, bigger, and more violent. And we started making calls. We started seeing the free agents out there. And then we were just brainstorming. It's like, well, I think I told him first because Werdum's in my gym. I'm like, Werdum's a free agent. I mean, not Werdum, JDS is a free agent. And he told me, funny, I've been talking to Werdum's people, and he's a free agent. And it was literally just like that. And it was like, well, what do we got here, you know? We started working, talking to both camps. It took a little bit of time. Both camps are crazy professional, but it just takes time, you know, especially Bareknuckle doing something new, getting these guys to agree on a price that they feel is comfortable and worth for it for their performance and their health. You know, so once we came to that number and agreement, we started moving rather fast. We closed it up. We announced it, and I was like, in my mind, in my eyes, I got the most violent main event coming your way for a long time to see. Like, I dare you to find something more violent than what's coming your way. And if what you're into is this sweet violence of MMA, you know, with all these crazy techniques, punches, kicks, chokes, slams, and all that, just extra heightened because the gloves come off, enjoy yourself.
And obviously the fight, the original fight, the first fight was a long time ago, back in 2008. So how differently does it go down this time around, and what impact does taking off the gloves have?
Well, when you take off the gloves, something we've noticed right away is the finishes go through the roof. Whether it be a submission, a cut, a knockout, submissions, everything goes through the roof with no gloves. So something we're definitely looking forward to. Every time we have more of these fights, we just see it like per card. We have 7 to 8 finishes in a 10-fight card, something like that. The overwhelming amount of finishes is through the roof, you know. So we don't expect anything less from these historic freaking animals of the sport, you know. I mean, both these guys still leave me in awe, you know, so I'm just ready for the fireworks.
And someone that transitioned well into bare knuckle is Mike Perry. Have you ever thought about perhaps booking him?
Definitely. I think Perry's is under contract, so we don't really talk to guys that are under contract. Obviously, he'd be great for it because he fought in the UFC, in the highest of the levels of the sport, you know, and then he went bare knuckle and he's doing fine. And like you said, he really found like his home, his groove there, you know. But I know he's under contract, so I wouldn't even attempt, you know.
And did you see when Conor McGregor got in the ring after one of his fights and faced off with him? Could you ever see Conor McGregor doing anything like this?
I don't see Conor McGregor ever fighting, to be honest with you. I think he's fighting with like his sexuality and his demons, and I think that's like enough of a fight for him, probably, you know.
You said his sexual. Why do you think he's fighting with his sexuality?
Man, the dude looks like he's losing it to me, man. He looks a little bit odd. And then that little mama that they caught him with in Miami, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
So you don't think he'll ever fight again?
Probably not. Why? I hear he's done real good in business. He has money, but that's a lifestyle, you know. You want to wake up at 7 in the morning, get these miles in, and then you come back home, you have a little snack. Everybody's blowing you up. Oh, come get on the beach. Come get in this boat. Let's do something. Oh, no, I got another practice at 1 p.m. What are you talking about? Then when you get after that, you're going to go home, rest, take a little nap. Then you got another practice at 7 p.m. at night. You know, and it's a lifestyle. And those that do that more, adapt to that better, you know, watch tape, live that lifestyle, they tend to have a little bit more, you know, success out there. You know, that's granted that they're a fighter, they're an athlete, you know. At this sport, at this level, all the guys that we're fighting, they're good athletes. All of them have been doing it since they're 7, 8 years old, just like me. So do I think Conor is going to fight again? Probably not. I don't see it. I'd be surprised, you know. And if he does fight again, I'd love to be the guy to break his fucking face.
Would you love to do that, you know, with your promotion, bare knuckle?
Honestly, I wouldn't give a fuck where I do it at. Bare knuckle for me, because I've had so much injuries on my hand. I've torn so many tendons and ligaments. That'd be rough. It's like I'd be able to do one bare knuckle fight and never fight again, you know, with the status of my hands, you know. So that probably wouldn't be bare knuckle unless it was a one and done.
Do you still get the itch then to want to compete?
Of course. The itch is there. There's all types of rumors that I'm boxing this guy and that guy, and I love it because I still know I can compete. I can't maybe fight in MMA against the world's top 5 right now, you know. But in boxing, against these influencers and other UFC fighters, bro, I'll kill somebody.
And
Listen to me. I'll kill somebody.
what about the BMF?
Like dead. Like you put these influencers, like Ariel Helwani said, I forgot his name, that he's from England to fight me or something because his opponent fell off. Like, bro, I'll kill it. The dude that elbowed somebody, KSI, they're talking about putting him in the ring with me. Like, don't do it. Or like, I like to do it a lot, like Logan Paul and stuff like that. Like I fought my whole life. I didn't do something else, and then like, oh, this fighting shit that I just saw on TV 2 years ago is pretty cool. I'm gonna try that. Like, this is my life since I'm 7 years old. Then it happens to be that I have athletic gifts in this department. I'm like a nightmare for these guys, but I wouldn't mind, right? As now in my hobby, getting paid good money to beat the crap out of these guys, or you know, they do something else. Yeah, I'd love it. Sign me up.
What about Jake Paul and Nate Diaz?
That's a good fight. I think out of the influencers of transition, for a fact, Jake Paul's in the lead by a lot. More and more, he's looking like a boxer. I think even his last fight that he lost, he showed tremendous improvement on technique, being patient, you know, strategy. Is it enough to beat Nate? I don't know. I mean, he does have advantages. He fought more recent. He's fought in boxing more than Nate ever has. It's going to be Nate's first one. Nate's older. He's at the tail end of his career. So it's a lot of uphill for Nate as well. I see it just being a gritty fight, you know. And if Nate wins, it's because he just steps on the gas and breaks Jake. But I could see Jake stopping him potentially, maybe even getting a decision over him, you know.
And the BMF title is up for grabs again in the UFC. What did you make of that when you heard that Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje are going to be fighting for the BMF title?
When I heard Dustin was fighting for the belt, I was like, literally, because I known this guy 8 years. I know him in and out of the cage. I know how he is. I know he's a family man, how he is outside of the ring. I was like, they couldn't have picked a better motherfucker representation. Because this guy's a bad motherfucker. He doesn't mess with a soul. He's a good spirit, man. He's a good person. Doesn't know anybody a dollar, you know. He's not out to rip nobody off, but don't fuck with this guy, you know. He ain't fucking with nobody, but don't fuck with Dustin, man. He's a real ass motherfucker. He comes from a very humble place, kind of similar to myself, and fighting was his only option. He made it work for himself, and here he is, you know.
Do you see him as the clear winner in this one?
Yeah, call me biased. Yeah, I see him fucking domestic violence on Gaethje by Dustin Poirier.
And Francis Ngannou, his name was mentioned in the press conference with JDS and Werdum. I'm just interested, if he fights Tyson Fury, how do you think that goes down?
If he fights Tyson Fury in boxing, I mean, Tyson's going to play with him. If Tyson fought, you know, Ngannou in MMA, I mean, Ngannou would play with him, you know. It's the rule set, you know. And what these animals have done for a longer period of time, like if you've been a boxer your whole life, obviously you're going to have better endurance, better reflexes for that particular skill set. So it just depends on what playing field they fight on, you know.
And John Jones as well, he's been announced to take on Stipe Miocic. What do you think about that fight?
Yeah. I mean, that's GOAT versus GOAT fight. Stipe is one of the best heavyweights, period. John Jones, we all know who he is at 205, the greatest ever that they competed at that weight. I think Stipe, stylistically, is probably the hardest fight for Jones in a way. You know, he could wrestle back into him defensively. He has good boxing hands. He can move his feet, you know. I just think you can't bet against Jones. It's like Jones is that, like dead money. Like, you know, you can't bet against him. Somehow, some way, he's going to figure it out and find a way to win.
And lastly, you announced that you're going to be going to London in October. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to go to London?
Well, as a promoter, there's several places I want to touch base on, and these are like places where the fight community exists and live. That's one of them is England. Another one is Brazil. You know, these are places that we'll be going to. Next year we'll be going to Brazil, but England is a must in my bucket list. A must in my bucket list. We have to go to England and give the fight fans what they deserve. Just throw on the bloodiest, most violent show they've ever seen.
And can you give us a clue to who you were kind of...
A clue?
Yeah, the headline.
British. He's British, mate.
Could it be Darren Till?
Is he British?
Yeah, he is. He's from Liverpool. He's Scouse, so he's still British.
Fucking Scouser. Listen, the guy's British. I know that much. I don't know his race. I don't know his religion. I I can't even talk to you about his fight record, but I know the dude's British. You know, that's what we do know.
But is Darren Till someone that you would love to book?
No, yeah, not in particular for this event or any event, but I would definitely love to work with Darren Till. You know, besides the fact that he's a rock star at selling out, he fights. Like when he's in a mental space that he's prepared and his body's conditioned, that guy comes to fight, and he's one of the most exciting, period. So if we could do something, finalize something with Till, it'd be a dream come true for us. We've been talking to Till's camp. We've been talking to many different camps, so we're just not we haven't got the people that we want to on paper to sign yet before we announce. So that's what we're waiting for. We always like to get the signatures before we announce. But I promise you're gonna be happy. You're gonna go to my event. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm going. Yeah, you're going. You're gonna see it and you're gonna be like, I have to go to this. It's in my town. I have to go.
And just to finish, talking about Brits, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. They're trying to get that done. If it does get done, what's your opinion on those two guys fighting?
I hope Leon fucking leaves him in a stretcher. Just fucking like beats the fucking dog breaks out of him. Colby's old too now. He might not be able to keep that pace up. Leon's looking really good at being a scramble, get up to his feet and start the fight again. I just feel that Colby is a couple notches above Usman in the grappling department if he's on top of somebody, of just being real sticky and holding somebody, not letting go. So Leon, I think with some improvements in the wrestling department, then he could get it back to his real estate, which is fighting on the feet. I think he could pull it off, man. I'm hoping he pulls it off, but it's gonna be one of his tougher fights. So because Colby's not gonna come to fight, he's gonna come to sniff crotches, and man, he can sniff a crotch for 25 minutes, like no problem. He'll squeeze as hard as he can and just sniff away, you know. So Leon has to be prepared for that, but I think he can pull it. I'm hoping he pulls it off and fucking leaves him in a stretcher.
Okay, well, we'll end it on that. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in London.